Hello friends, it's the eve of the new moon in Gemini. The new moon season is my favorite time of the month because it's a time where we get to plant our seeds for what we want to intend. And as the moon travels through the quarter moon to the full moon, where things are revealed, and then wanes back down through the third quarter moon and the balsamic moon, this is the time where we direct where we want this new moon energy to go. There is so much happening with this new moon. Oh, and first, I want to let you know it's a little bit pandemonium here, hectic. We have graduation going on. We have people coming in and out, and I'm just going to have to do this in parts tonight. So anyway, this new moon in Gemini occurs at 6:02 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So figure out what time that is for you. And the new moon energy is so potent, especially potent, that you need to really take to paper and pencil and write out your new moon intentions according to the themes that we talk about. The new moon in Gemini has everything to do, it's ruled by Mercury. It has to do with communication, short distance travel, the neighborhoods where we grew up in, our childhood friendships, early childhood education, elementary education, thinking, reasoning. In the tarot, Gemini is represented by the lovers because of the twins, but it also has influence. I think of the magician as Gemini, because you're taking everything that's above and manifesting and turning your magic into your lives, and that really has the essence to me of Gemini. And so this Gemini new moon in Washington, D.C., it is hitting all the eclipses from January that really rattled us for the past month. When you go back to the new moon in Taurus, that was the day of the Kentucky Derby, and remember that crazy outcome? Well, that's because a new moon happened right then, and Uranus, the planet of upheaval, chaos, the innovator, the revolutionary, that was triggering all of the eclipses. It wasn't an eclipse, but it surely felt like it this past month because it just knocked everything kind of off their foundation. This past month was very unstable and had many surprises, and you can trace it all back to that new moon. Well, this month with the new moon in Gemini, it's kind of doing the same thing. It is triggering those eclipses back from January, and I'm going to try to explain to you as succinct as I can how that's going to manifest in our lives. The most important things with this chart, if you look at the ascendant and the descendant, remember the ascendant, this is the east, the sun rises here, it reaches its highest point at the midheaven during the day, and then it sets in the west. So all the planets rise and set accordingly. So tomorrow at 6:02 a.m. you will see the sun and moon will be conjunct and just above the horizon, and this is the 12th house. It's ruled by Pisces. In there we have Uranus, Venus, sun, and moon. This is the house of secrets. It's also the house of hidden enemies. And Trump's kind of been having problems with some enemies lately, especially with MBS and the Six Wands mob. You know, that's what I call them. Putin, Trump, Netanyahu, MBS, Xi Jinping, and Un. They're upset with him. And I think they set him up this week with bad intel, perhaps. And Jared's taking the fallout. But anyway, we're going to see a lot of activity that's hidden, a lot that's hidden. And so in any horoscope, when you're talking about a government, the sun represents the president, the moon represents the people. So both the sun and the moon are going to have equal access to all of these planets. That last quarter moon we had, the president, he didn't have any access to the energy. The people did, and it made him crazy last week. Well, the moon, the sun isn't going to move out of the 12th house for a couple days. The moon will go on its merry way quickly. So you have a lot of activity in the 12th house. You'll also know there's a T-square here between the sun, moon, Jupiter, and Neptune. There is a lot of tension, and then when you start looking at the things it's going to trigger, it gets even worse. The thing I'm most concerned about is this Mars is 11 degrees Cancer. It is exactly opposite Saturn, 11 degrees Capricorn, during the January 21st. So the January 21st or the... Okay. It's opposite Saturn. I think, it's opposite Saturn from January 5th. So if you want to think of Saturn as an immovable object and Mars as an unstoppable force, they're going to oppose each other. And June 6th is going to be ugly. It's going to be crazy. Coincidentally, Mars and Saturn and these other planets are having oppositions in the 2nd and 8th house. The 2nd house has to do with income and gains and money and the planet Venus. The 8th house has to do with other people's money, death, life, transformation, debts, and taxes. So there is going to be so much upheaval here with money and taxes for Trump, especially since these planets here are opposing his natal Venus and Saturn. We have Venus squaring off with the midheavens, so money's going to be another point of issue this coming month, and it's going to oppose Venus from the January 5th eclipse. So all that's going to be activated. I mean, seriously, the way Trump's been, I don't know how he is going to handle this month. It is just going to be a mess for him.